I know this is something you follow very closely. It's not just the value, it's the trading volume. Is this the bottom?
I have no idea whether it's the bottom or not. But yes, absolutely. With the price collapse, that causes an interest collapse, that causes a volume collapse, and of course that's bad news for the exchanges. We saw a small round of layoffs, I think it was last week, at the popular crypto exchange Kraken, but we haven't really seen that much more. We haven't seen a sort of like exodus from the industry yet, and so if we were to look at past historical bubbles, we might expect to see more of that if there were a bottom. On the other hand, we could bounce back immediately if the believers are correct, and then we wouldn't see that.
Somebody who is not exiting the industry, Sonny Singh, sitting with me right here now from BitPay. Do you think this is the bottom, or is that still to come?
It's hard to say. I think right now the market's looking for some defining moment, a catalyst. And right now you're just seeing rumors that someone might do something, someone might launch a trading desk, someone might not be launching a trading desk. But I think next year you're going to see the big entrants become real, where you see Goldman does launch a trading desk, Fidelity does launch a Bitcoin product, Square offers Bitcoin processing for merchants, BlackRock launches an ETF. So all that will then become real, and then you'll see some adoption actually, and then you'll see the price start bouncing back up again. Until then, I think you're being up and down on rumors, and who knows what to say when all this will happen.
Joe, let's talk about some of these unorthodox practices we're seeing to boost activity. What are you seeing that's most concerning?
Well, you know, it's interesting going back to the run-up, because one of the key things here is that liquidity is really what breathes life into these coins. It's unlike, say, stocks, where everyone just goes on to their regular online brokerage account and buys whatever stocks they want. Coin trading is diffused across multiple platforms. Some platforms offer just access to a few coins, some offer many. But if a coin isn't offered in a wide variety of places, then, of course, that really harms the potential of the coin to appreciate. And so during the run-up, what you saw is the big exchanges had an incredible ability to sort of milk value out of the coins that wanted to list. So if you looked at one of the popular exchanges, Binance, then they could charge a lot for the various small coins to list, because that's where the money was. On the way down, the exchanges try to use these coins and saying, okay, you can list on there, but you got to get encourage people to sign up and get trading. And so what you see is the balance of power shifting with the volume decline. It's not just that the exchanges can say, no, 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 you can't list unless you pay us. They really are trying to drum up attention and trying to get people on the site to get volume. It's it's very different than what we saw last December.
So, Sonny, no question there's some stuff out there happening that could give the industry a bad name. I mean, are you worried that could, pull the bottom out?
Yeah, and so that's always been the concern about the ICOs and the trading exchanges and the ICO industries that aren't quite regulated. And last year, getting your ICO token listed on a Binance or Bittrex could increase your market valuation, $100 to $1 billion actually. We saw run-ups go up when you got listed on Binance of 5 to 10x in price actually. So that was very powerful, and Joe's absolutely right. Liquidity is the key to these ICOs. And now I think when you're seeing the Bitcoin price drop, ICOs are no longer in favor anyways. They're down 95%. So people aren't really trading ICOs as much anymore. People are still trading a lot of Bitcoin and the other stuff, actually, not as much as they were 6 months ago. But what you're seeing is that until Bitcoin and the other large ones get up to 10,000 or get back some of the gains, the ICO market's going to be in a lot of trouble, actually. And a lot of those ICOs will never make it back to where they were 8 months ago.
Meantime, Joe, India has virtually banned cryptocurrency. You've got the courts there refusing to reverse a ban from the central bank. This is one of the largest democratic governments in the world that you think might be open or more open to something like this. What are the implications of this on a global scale?
Well, it's funny because people in the industry obviously aren't crazy about it when regulators come and crack down and limit the ability of trading and transacting and so forth. But then on the other hand, if you look at the sort of ideology and ethos of crypto, a lot of it is about decentralization, disrupting the dominant role that central banks have in money creation, circumventing the existing banking system. So from my perspective, I would be more concerned if I were in the space if governments weren't reacting negatively, because that would imply that the sort of goal of the whole space is being unfulfilled. So I think a big part of crypto is a threat to the existing system. And the fact that you do see existing regulators and players push back is kind of, in a weird way, a validation of the whole point. Now, it's not great for money, because if you want liquidity and money to easily pour in, then it's a problem when governments say banks can't finance this stuff or exchanges can't operate. But it does kind of fulfill what I think is the crypto narrative.
So, Sonny, it's not just India, of course. Russia,
Yep.
China, also virtually against cryptocurrency. Can this industry really take off globally if you've got 3 major governments in the world saying no?
Yeah, and it's actually those are only the last remaining 3, I would say. And China and Russia,
they're big ones.
They're big ones. And China, Russia, and India have always been against Bitcoin. And India takes a different stance. They're not against it the way China and Russia really are, actually. India's saying we need to analyze it more. And I think in the next year or so, you will see India open up to that. China and Russia are the big wild cards. They have a different kind of government system, actually, than India does. Who knows when they're going to do it? And China controls a lot of the Bitcoin market, even still today, actually. So they are very much more powerful than India as far as the Bitcoin market share around the world.
Joe, was that a skeptical I heard from you there?
No, I thought that was an interesting point, and that it is a good idea to not lump all of these in together. One last point I want to get across about whether we're at some sort of bottom yet is if you just look at some of the market caps of some really dodgy coins. There are coins where the white paper was plagiarized. There are coins that have 0 prospects of ever being used. Some of these are still enormous. Just look at billion-dollar market caps of projects that aren't anywhere close to having anything. It makes it hard to believe that this is it, because for all the declines that we've seen so far, it is kind of amazing how many believers some of these things still have.
So, Sonny, you've got an opinion there. There could be further to fall. And to the point of the dodginess, what kind of impact are you seeing on your business at BitPay?
Yeah, at BitPay and people I talk to in the industry, we've never been more bullish, actually. So I see right now.
Business.
Yeah, business is great.
Going gangbusters.
We're hiring more.
Is it getting better?
We're hiring more people. We're working with several global large brands around the world. No one's stopping their implementations. Everyone's going full speed ahead. Where I think the issue is again in the altcoins. Those will never come back, I believe, the same way a Bitcoin will come back. Fidelity, BlackRock, they're not launching altcoin products. They're going to launch Bitcoin products. So Bitcoin will rebound next year when all these products become mainstream adopted. And we're seeing no slowdown at all at BitPay. Our merchants are seeing great growth still every week. They're signing up more and more all the time. We're hiring more salespeople. You saw Coinbase is doubling their teams soon too as well. So it's still full speed ahead in the Bitcoin space. I can't guarantee what's going to happen in the altcoin world. As Joe said, there's a lot of dodgy ones that are out there that are still overvalued. They can go a lot farther down. Who knows what's going to happen to them? But Bitcoin, again, is the leader in this space.